Sharpen your skills in technology and join the free 7-week tech program starting late August. Introducing Try Tech, an exciting new course aimed at rangatahi interested in a career in IT and technology, including gaming, mobile app development, web design, coding, and more. Spaces are limited. Get in quick and start developing your future today.
Atiawa Toa.
Have you ever hit a home run?
Yeah, I had a couple, mate, because I always used to be let the first one go wide. You get the player of the day.
And welcome to the Wellington College Sports Awards for 2023. My name's Semi Caressa, and I'm here with Cass Caressa at Te Rauparaha Arena here in the beautiful city of Porirua.
Yes, the beautiful city of Porirua.
And I think we've got Cass if he's there. Mate, Cass, you there?
Kia ora, koro, how are you?
Well, I'm not. It was all right till he said koro, bro.
Almost a week now.
Yeah, and it's good because your Tosa Mo top covers two teams, Blues as well. So, but that was probably one of the best Origin games in a while.
90s and more. Atiawa Toa.
E honore e krori ki te atua maunga rongo ki te mata o te whenua whakaro pai ki ngā tāngata katoa ti hei wa Maori ore. E te tia te tānau mai whakatau mai rā ki tēnei papahotanga, mai tēnei whare te Maori ki Waiwhetu, te kāinga o Atiawa Toa, nau mai erarau piki mai kake mai. Kuna Woods tēnei mihana kia koutou e aritaringa mai he uri he moko puna mai te Atiawa Ngāti Prau ngā ruahine taranaki tūturu nei rā te raukura e titia ki aku nui ki akura I tēnā koutou katoa.
Kia ora koutou katoa, talofa lava, bulavanaka, kia ora na, bonjour, and most of all, ngā mihi nui, and thank you for joining us this evening on Atiawa Toa Sports. Tonight we preview the Grand Final 2024 Wellington Grand Final being played at Hutt Rec this weekend. The three games that are going to be on there, we have the Prem Reserves at 11 o'clock, we've got the Women's Final at 1, and then of course the big dance at 1 o'clock. Being live streamed to you live on Atiawa Toa FM. I'm joined by my co-host of the Atiawa Toa Sports Show on Saturday mornings, Cass Caressa, with guest panellists Charlie Gubb and Noel Woods. Cass, good evening. We've made it.
Solly, it's great to be here, man, and big ups to the crew for getting this flash background here. I've never been in a place like it, but it's great to be here, man. Wellington Rugby League Grand Finals coming up this Saturday. We're excited about it, and tonight is all about those free games. The big one, obviously, the Dragons getting the win over the Ramwood Kingfishers, so they'll be playing the Lions. Also in the reserve grade, Pitone, the fairy tale story, taking on the Ramwood Kingfishers. And the women's a repeat of last year's Grand Final, the Eels and the Valkyries. And I'll hand it over to, well, speaking of the women's Grand Final, you reffed the game yesterday. No, it was a tight one, last minute call, a bit of a knock-on from Wainui, which saw them miss out on the big dance.
Yeah, it was a great game. Went down to the final few minutes, and impressive Wainui side. They were bulked up with some of those young players. Earl Va's daughter in there. I think Whanua, the whanaunga, Nokone, Uncle Karapukitapu's moko, really just added a bit of spark, a bit of youth, a bit of energy into that Wainui side. So unexpected. I expected the Valkyrie for an easy victory, but it just goes to show the passion from the Lions nearly got them there, just like last year's semi-final. So a repeat in the Women's Grand Final coming up between the Eels and Valkyrie.
Absolutely. And we also have Charlie Gubb. Brother,
Man.
Welcome to the panel. It's great to have you here. The Hunters, not the ideal year, but I mean, an unsung hero in the competition in terms of them constantly showing up. Kia ora, bro.
Kia ora, everyone. Yeah, pretty special to be asked to be here alongside three probably passionate legends of Wellington Rugby League. And back to the Hunters, yeah, was always checking tribe for when they're going to get their first win. You know, I've seen a lot of young guys on the team sheet early on, and sometimes when you keep turning up, you know, you end up getting in there in the end. But they kept turning up, and we're not quite there yet.
All good, bro. Let's get this show started. Let's start with April. Back in April, we started the weekend. We were all out at Ngāti Toa Domain. We saw the games out there. I'll start with you, Cass. Where we started and where we are now. Were you expecting these two teams, especially in the men's final, to be there, which are St. George and Wainui?
Yeah, bro. I mean, back when it started, the whole water round, obviously, Wellington Rugby League is all about whole water, about well-being, and so big ups to Andre and the team. At Ngāti Toa Domain, we saw the Dragons got over Randwick. We also saw Tor get over the Hunters, and we also saw the first Mercy game of the year where the Vikings went down to Wainui. The game had to be stopped, I think it was 50 minutes into it. And so it's been a long journey since then, but the best two have rise to the top, Dragons and the Lions. So looking forward to that.
One club that we do need to bring a focus on, and that is the Eels, the Aroha Eels. They weren't in the competition this year, boys, due to complications. We need them in the competition, Noel. Is there a rebirth? Is there a program that you know that's happening within that club to come back in 2025?
Well, they were in the competition for a couple of games there, playing with 9-10, and unfortunately I was injured. I would have been the 11th. But they had a hui, I think, last Sunday, led by some of the old boys. So they're trying to rally the troops. Some good news as well is that the Masters had their first training last Thursday. So we're trying to invite Adrian back into the fold. He was a bit of a Mullins back in his days. But so it's great to see maybe some of these older guys like myself can play sort of reserve grade next year and just hold some space until we sort of regroup, regather. And definitely the aim to have the Eels back in the Premier Competition 25.
Definitely important for the Eels to be back in this competition. I'll go across the room to the boys. The rise of Betoni in the last couple of years. They went from Prems, got dropped to reserves. It was a bit of dire straits for that club, but all of a sudden they then had two teams. Now they're in a grand final in Prem Reserve. Your thoughts on how Betoni Panthers have been in the last couple of years?
Yeah, no, I think they've been outstanding. I think the best thing is their socials. I'm not sure if you follow their Instagram, but yeah, so creative. Big ups to Edwards and all that. We see some names. They've come back to the club, and I think that's what's brought all the boys back, brought some pride back into the Panthers. You know, they're the oldest club in Wellington Rugby League, so, you know, to see them come out like that this year, they're only going to be better for next year. I think they're ready for Prems.
Yeah, for sure. I think taking that step back, sometimes, you know, you got to take a step back, as the old cliche to take two steps forward, but winning kind of fixes everything. They might have had the same team, they drop back, they keep winning. People want to join things that are winning. You know, it's fun. The socials, like you're talking about, that one video of the lowlights, that was that probably would have done some pretty serious numbers, you know, up there with some of the WAS videos. So yeah, they're doing great things there.
Having social media as part of a lot of clubs has been quite beneficial. Another club we just want to put a quick light on, and that is the Vikings. And the year that they've had this year. Last year, finalists, and this year, just finding a little bit hard to get the results that they were after. I'll start with you, Noel. You might have come across them in your refereeing duties. How is that club? Are they getting numbers? And just your thoughts on their season.
Yeah, they're probably in a similar situation with TA. You know, just some of the age bracket that are getting a little bit too old, and but no doubt the youth are definitely coming through the Vikings. Yeah, I don't know, player dynamics and whatever was the cause for numbers to cruise off and play rugby and other stuff. But you know, I think the good sign is that the boys came back. They seen the boys struggling, so a few of the old boys came back just to keep them alive. So hopefully they can rally something up for next year. A change in the management coaching staff might be a bit of a good thing. No doubt, just to get a bit of a fresh start, some fresh ideas into the mix, so that could change the game a little bit. But yeah, wish them all the best for next year as well. Guys,
your thoughts on the Vikings, on where they've ended up this year?
Yeah, bro, it was pretty sad, you know. I'm an ex-Purito Vikings, proud Poro man, and to see them this year, the way they went, because the last 2 years prior to that, they were the best team. Just to the finals, they lost, but, you know, throughout the season, they were the best team. Prems, reserves, winners last year, finals last year. So it's a shame, but at the same time, I think every club goes through it, like Noel said. We see Damon Rongatoa's done a great job. Ents Akavi and Nikki on the board as well, keeping that club alive. And so, you know, you would have seen a lot of the young boys come through. I think the important thing for you involved with youth is just getting the youth getting through.
Yeah, that's right. I think sometimes when a premier team becomes very good, but the grades below aren't, the clubs are relying on their premier team. I don't know if there's a story with Norths, but it's when that friendship group that were the senior players, when they leave, who's coming through to take their spot. And I did notice a lot of the very good Vikings players, you know, they went to Axemen and just various places, and that can really hurt your premier team, and then the grades down because their best players go up. So I think probably all clubs, you need to build from the bottom up.
Yeah.
Have that strong foundation.
Yeah, they'll be back, bro. Don't worry.
They'll be back. If you've just joined us, we are Atiawa Toa FM Sports. This is a live stream. We want to debrief and review the 2024 Grand Final Rugby League competition happening at Hutt Rec. I want to go back to your conversation that you had about players going back to Union. In the Hutt, we've got so much talent. Some of them go play for Hutt Old Boys, some of them go play for Petone. We're struggling in terms of trying to retain the players. Is there something that we can do in the game to see if we can keep them for that whole season instead of them bouncing in and out?
Yeah, well, I think a few of the cousins raised that. Look at Manawatu, they play their rugby comp and the league comp following the rugby competition. I'm not too sure if it's achievable here in Wellington. Particularly, we've got to line that up with the national championships and all those tournaments that they have at the end of the year. So that might be a tough ask, but I mean, having a relationship with rugby, I think it will be a good start, whether it's at the union level or local club level. Say Te Aroha and Hutt Old Boys are working together to try and, help each other in whatever shape or form. So, just having that relationship with rugby, as we know, it's always going to be a battle. Colleges are facing it every day, people, students, kids, and I can't remember her name, she called it out at a national tournament, she said, right. At college, they're making us make that choice, whether it's rugby or league. They want to play both, so that needs to be tidied up.
Charlie, development-wise, you must see this all the time between our players, our young players in private schools. League is a massive passion for our young people. Yeah,
that's for sure. I think all young people love rugby league, but not everyone has the opportunity to play it because rugby is just ingrained in schoolboy culture. But you can see the pathways now. And to be fair, I do think that rugby union is on the ropes. I don't think that rugby league has to pounce on it. They, like what Noah said, you can work alongside each other. And I don't know what the logistics would be like, but I would love to see a college sport competition run in the summer, run in that pre-season, whether it was just 9-a-side, just to get kids playing during the year. And it would be good for their pre-season. They'd pick up different schools for rugby. You can't take them out of that first 15. They will go on and play first 15, and maybe at the end of the year, you could do a 3-week 13-a-side tournament. It's just about thinking outside the square and just getting the kids play rather than making them choose.
Yeah, I mean, we were at the Orcas trials yesterday, under 16s, under 18s boys, 3 teams for each grade. You talk about some of the first 15 players, some of the best players in first 15 were there. Elijah Solomon, a couple of the others as well. Semurana, Fepuluiai, so a lot of the Colts players. So they love the game, but like you say, the opportunity to play week in, week out is not there. But when they are called on to play for the Orcas, they come there. So we're just happy that they're there.
Before we go up for a breather, we've only been doing this live podcast for about 13, 14 minutes. Before we go to an ad, I will come back to Noel in terms of that development. Huge numbers yesterday at those trials for the under 16, under 18s. Must be a huge positive sign, especially for someone like Tony Ido, who came down with the Warriors team to watch all those boys play. Yeah, no doubt. That's the thing is these opportunities. I was talking to a young fellow in the weekend, just wants to play rugby at Rongotai College. I said, man, give league an option because it's a possible career path there. So I'm excited about our juniors. We won the Orcas 18s earlier in the year, so that's promising. And then we get to see the likes of the Maui, Winitana Patalicio and Jacob Laban. I think Munga's boy, Sikovia, for the Warriors. They've grown up here in Wellington, and so for our young kids to see them excelling on the big stage will give them inspiration to do the same. This is a debrief of the grand final that's happening this weekend, but we do need to talk about what's happening in our game and in terms of development for our age grades and what's happening in college as well. We're going to hit an ad, and then hopefully when we get back, we will have Whauono Chief Ken Laban, who will join the podcast, and we're going to have a quick chat with him about just the development and the girls and the women's side of things. So don't go away, give us a like, give us a love. We'll catch you on the other side of the ad.
Back. All the best throwbacks, 90s and more. Atiawa Toa.
Wants to go together, hold tight, hold tight. when we get some time together, flow along with me. Low light, that's when it's looking better tonight. We get some time together, flow along with me. When now I know that your rivers run deep. Why don't you sing out with us? Hey, sing it.
Kia ora koutou katoa. Welcome back to the podcast, Wellington Rugby League Grand Final. It's all on here this evening, and we're going to our first phone call. We've got the man himself. He joins us every weekend from Waiwhetu, Leawhionga, Whaono, the man himself, Ken Leben. How's it going, brother?
Real good, nice to be on the show.
Awesome, bro. It's great to have you, man. We're talking all about Rugby League, the Grand Final, but more particularly about the game itself and with yourself, your involvement with the development of the young women's in the game, especially in the Hauwewha. You want to talk a bit about that?
One of the great things about one of the areas been the greatest growth in the game has been in those teenage years. Work that Aotearoa Maori Rugby League done to establish the teenage tournaments. It's just been unbelievable. Nearly got, I think, 5,000 players in the quartile grade or the girls grade that I've been tied up with. This under 13s, under 14s, under 15s, under 17s. There's nearly close to 6 teams tied up in those 4 grade games.
Yeah, bro. One of the things we have seen lately with the young women coming through is the NRLW, and a few of the girls from Wainui have made their way over there, so it's showing a real pathway for the young ones.
Yeah, it is. Well, it's replicating what the young boys have had an opportunity they've had the years as well. You know, obviously rugby league being an option and rugby league being an option for them, but what's sort of forgotten about rugby league is that there are 17 NRL clubs. They have under 16, under 18, under 20s, grade and first grade teams. And everybody in Australia, well, Charlie will tell you that everybody's looking for talent. That if you got the skills and you got the grit, run hard, run straight and tackle it. We all know, there are great opportunities out there for young people. And with the rise of the NRLW last 3 or 4 years, there are some opportunities. Obviously, eventually it's not as long as the men's game yet, but it's most certainly on an upward growth.
Yeah, definitely, mate. On the up. Before we let you go, bro, we're previewing the grand final. Let's get your thoughts on the women's grand final. The Eels up against the Valkyries, a repeat of last year's grand final.
Yeah, well, they've been the two best teams. I haven't seen a lot of women's game. I've probably seen about 4 games. They were the two best teams, and thoroughly deserved place in the final. As to who would win, I've no idea, mate. You'd have to ask smarter than me. I watched the Valkyrie beat Waiwhetu yesterday. Young Deanna Russell Lear from the Valkyrie, who's the captain of the under-18s, and she's the mainly under-9 highest player of the year. She scored a try right full time. I was a bit between the referee, Noel Woods, awarded the trophy. The hearts of all the Waiwhetu people. But I know Indy well. She's a great young kid, great young talent. Yeah, very happy for her and the North team and the Bridge at Whānau. Have a lot to do with North, of course. TA, a few years ago, what did they win? 8 medals in a row. So, there are 2 clubs with a great history in our game.
Yeah, man. I've been getting a few texts from the Waiwhetu people as well about Noel being on this panel. But, bro, the big game, the big dance, Waiwhetu Mata, taking on the Dragons. Obviously, you're a legend of the club and they want to go back-to-back. How do you see that game playing out?
Yeah, it's interesting. Well, obviously my heart's with Waiwhetu Mata, but, I did Ulva yesterday at the women's game, and I said to him that St George have been the best team in the comp the last and haven't won it. So, they get the opportunity this week. The issue they're going to have, of course, with Waiwhetu, their history, they've played, they're defending champions, they've played a lot of big games, know how to get it done.
Thanks a lot, brother. Have an awesome day, bro. We'll catch up.
Bye, bro.
Cheers, bro. So that was Ken Laban giving his views on about Noel's reffing yesterday. Noel, you reffed the game, bro. It was a tight one.
Mate, it was a tight one, yeah. It could have gone anyway. So Waiwhetu got out to a good start. Valkyrie came back. I think the difference was the young girl that Ken Laban talked about, just the pace they had out wide, the Valkyrie. Just too fast. Two or three of them were runaway tries. Just couldn't be caught. Not even the referee could keep up. So that pace is going to be scary for the grand final come this Saturday for the Eels. So congratulations to the Valkyrie.
Waiwhetu had an awesome game. I thought Keisha played her part as a leader in that team for Waiwhetu, made sure that the back players were all doing and running the lines that they needed to be. Waiwhetu got out early, scored tries. At one point, I think the score was 16-4, and then the Valkyries came out in the second half and they were just stayed in their systems, did really well. I thought you caught a good game last night, to be honest.
Yeah,
you had a great one.
Yeah, that's right. A couple of 50-50 calls, we can't see everything.
No.
And so you've got to rely on the touchies. And just a plug for the refs, anyone on ref next year, please get in touch with the Wellington Rugby League Referees Association. We need more out there.
But I do you're very deliberate with your knock-ons and the way you talk to the audience, the crowd, so they know exactly what the call is, Well,
they got breakdancing in the Olympics now, eh? So.
But you don't rush it, You're not like... You make sure that everyone on the sidelines see that it was a knock-on and that we're coming back. So I got to give it to you, just that type of communication that you give them there. Let's continue with the women's final. Great that it's on at 1:00. You know, Prem Reserve, sorry that you guys are at 11, but not sorry because what a great platform for the women's game to be played at 1 o'clock at Hutt Rec this Saturday.
Yeah, definitely, man. It's exciting. I think that game yesterday gave the Valkyries a bit of a fright because they've been smashing everyone all year. And so for them to just win that game in the last minute, it's been pretty hard. But yeah, I think it's exciting for the women's game to see them back up and running. I also think them playing at Te Whiti Park every Sunday was a big bonus. You know, it was like to see them play. And also Mana Wahine, let's shout out to them for sponsoring the competition. But yeah, it's going to be a tight one. Last year, the Valkyries just won over the Eels. So picking another tight one, this one, mate.
Yeah, I'm not too sure on the result, but just on the Women's Rugby League, it's awesome to see the amount of secondary school girls playing in the premier competition. It definitely bodes well, and I had the pleasure of coaching the under-18 Wahine side with Ken last year, and I'll be going again this year. And just seeing their mentality and the way they approach the game, it's just all fun and games until kickoff. And man, you don't have to tell them to play hard. You almost have to tell them to take their foot off the throat. And that's probably credit to Ken and his old school values. Yeah, he's a good old school hard coach, which definitely works at club level. So yeah, I'm not too sure on the result, but hoping that everyone puts their best foot forward.
I heard he gets a bit animated on the sideline. How do you kind of contain him, his passion?
No, you just let him go. It's like when your engine starts over revving, man, just let it go. You don't want it to turn on you.
Look, there's a few things. Noel, did you want to bring up something in terms of the female players?
Yeah, well, I'm just want to touch on the young ones that are really shining through, but just focusing more on the grand final for the Porirua side. Apparently, as Shakira Baker.
Yes,
just want to give her a plug. What a wonderful player. She's a former Blackfern,
yes,
I think, for the New Zealand rugby team. So good to see her. I think she smashed one of the young girls from Waiwhetu, which was awesome to see, you know. So, but also just a plug for the Burgess. I think the Valkyrie mentioned. Yep. One of the Burgess sisters, she's going to be key in the halves, as well as for Te Aroha. I've just got the ones to watch out for is Tara Kerr. She's a centre. She played last year's final. I think she was in the Orcas too. She's probably going to be the difference, whether the Eels win or lose. But a former player, I got a text from the auntie to give her a plug. A former player for the Eels, Marire Puketapu. She played last year's grand final. They just won the Sunshine Coast Women's Competition for the Kawana Dolphins over there in Australia over the weekend. So
there you go.
Congratulations to her.
Congratulations. And we're also promoting competitions over in Australia as well. We're going to segue into a fun little video that we found in the archives, a bit of a rap battle, really, and being a grand final week, we thought we'd bring it back alive, and it's a rap battle that says everything about Wellington Rugby League.
All the best throwbacks, 90s and more.
Atiawa Toa. It's all the best throwbacks, 90s and more. Noel on your Friday drive. Yes, it's that time again for your meta rap battles. We pick a bit of a coke bottle to rap about where I take on
the man himself, and it's me, your boy, Powder in the morning, or we like to say Powder in the morning. And it's that time again, final where we rock the airwaves and get into your meta rap battles. And this week we're talking about the Wellington Rugby League scene, all kicking off tomorrow morning at the Otaki Domain. So let's get straight into it, man. It's your meta rap battle.
Yo, here we go. Here we go.
Rugby League is back for 2018, smashing each other all over the scene. Hey, it's Whiti Tera back in 2018, cause man, they are mean. I'm wishing you could say the same about me, but I'm more of a spectator, you know me. I'm with the man himself, they call him naughty, because sometimes he's very naughty.
Kiki te poro, ki te piki whara. Hit it up the guts, knock down, run it harder. Wellington Rugby League kicking off, let's hope there's no send-off in the bin for taking your heads off. Back in the days on the wing, 2000 champions, scoring tries for the Eels. These days in the middle, in control, kaiwa wild referee Paura, kei hea to pipi.
Poneke, hui! Kua tai mai te wā mo te riki, hui! Whana I te poro, kiki I te poro. Just be careful not to kick the wrong poro. Kia tu pato, mo tēnei poi anore. Because if you're naughty, he's gonna make you sorry. So make sure you get out there and represent your team at the Rugby League scene.
Penalty against Paura, mō tōna poto tōna pango. Now it's time to shout out to the kapa. Whiti te rā to the Eels and the Lions, the mighty Panthers, Tigers and the Titans, Hunters and Vikings, Phoenix and the Dragons, to the Kingfishers, Titahi Bay Marlins, Wellington Rugby League, here we go, let's go. Tau toko tō kapa ki te whanganui ata rā.
So there you go, whānau, another round of Rāmera Rap Battles with myself and, of course...
Yes, the brother Noel, and I want to send a...
Noel Woods, the MC, Father MC, they call him. If you do for
that was,
me.
I think, the 2008.
2008 or 18?
Oh, 18. 2018.
2018.
That's how long I've been here.
2018. No, that was something you bypassed P. Diddy and released that yourself. And amazing. Congratulations. Spotify wasn't invented back then. So, like those kids that have those bikes with the big speakers, you rode around Waiwhetu playing that single. Tell us, how did the world tour go on that track?
Hey, mate, it was good. In fact, I think we did that every week with Paula, and we just picked the cope up. I think Hurricanes Crusaders was one of them because he's a Crusaders fan from Christchurch. But just to bring a bit of fun, so I suppose it was just evidence that you can have some fun on your sports show.
Exactly.
You and the bro can start a rap battle every Saturday.
Cass and I can have a rap battle.
So he can't rap, he can sing.
Yeah, no, we will leave that for you. We're going to bring Tash Tolele in from the Kingfishers. We've been talking about the Women's Grand Final, and now we're going to see the update from the ground. She's been involved with it on a coaching level in terms of with the Kingfishers. So Tash Tolele, Taro Falawasoi, how are you?
Falafel guys, good, how are you?
Very well, thank you for joining us. Now, we understand that you are at a meeting at the moment doing God's work in the community with Hutt Valley Samoan Rugby League, so a shout out to your team over there.
Oh, thank you very much. Working very hard in there.
That's all good. Look, let's talk about the season that's been for 2024. We now end up with the Valkyries versus TA, but yesterday we saw your team play and we saw Wainui play. I mean, the season has been amazing for the women, playing and getting to the finals.
Yeah, I mean, this year we had the Mahine sponsoring women's. We all played at the same ground, so it was good to see everybody because, you know, we play against each other. We're really good friends.
Yes. And are you still friends? Or are you just saying that because you're live on air now?
Yeah, no, we're good friends, awesome friends.
We spoke to Ken earlier on. It's been amazing to see the young ones come through, the bravery of those young ones as well to just get physical into the games. I thought Wainui, with a lot of the young girls, didn't hold back against the Valkyries wanting to be in that final.
Yeah, well, that next generation has been waiting to come into the senior section. You know, I think there's a big gap between and some of the newer girls that have come. So, like, from our point, we've had girls come that are the former Premier Players girls, former Queenfisher girls come in, you know, the likes of Ralph and Rachel Leafe, Anna Pereira, Dave Toya, Neo Lonu. All of those girls have been waiting a really long time to come through. And they decided to because, you know, their cousins playing and then their sisters going to play with their little sisters, which is those girls that have come through from Nahoefa that have been doing really amazing things on the league stage.
One team that unfortunately couldn't make it to the start line was the Hunters women's team, and a bit of a shout out to those guys to not give up in their engagement with the game, to see if they can get more players there to be fully active in 2025.
Yeah, we've all been there, you know, all our clubs have been. I mean, the Valkyrie start from the scratch, you know, they came from the Marlins and then moved over, but there used to be Vikings girls back in the day. So everybody's start from scratch a lot, and I think with our women's competition, we're actually just starting again and growing.
It's been a healthy competition. The grand final on Saturday. Are you able to predict who you think will win on Saturday? Will it be a defending champion taking it away, or do you think that it'll go the other way?
I think if they can step up from the way they played us on Sunday, I think they'll have to take it. And what's good for them is they've got Taina in there, who, she played when I was playing as well, and she's just an amazing player, and she's just getting into it this season. And I think she'll be able to lead them really well.
Nice. Will you be there on Saturday?
Yeah, I think I'll have a watch.
Did you hear that, guys?
The Randwick
Tash
Kingfishers
will
are
be
playing before them, so go and support Rob, who's running.
Oh, yes, because we have Randwick versus Petone in the Prem Reserve. So all the best to the Prem Reserve team as they prepare for that. Tash Tolele, thank you so much for joining us for this quick podcast. We'll see you on Saturday. And all the best.
Yeah, awesome.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Bye. So there you have it. Tash is going with the Eels. The way that her words herself said, the way if they could just lift a little bit, she reckons that the Eels could win against the Valkyries this Saturday. I won't ask you because you were the referee, so you're neutral. But boys, on your end?
Yeah, Tash would say that. She's from the Hutt Valley, so she's going to support her neighbour. But I'll go the Valkyries, man. I think they got a lot of class. As Noel mentioned, they've got a lot of young girls coming through, and usually when those young girls break the line, it's not much behind it. So looking for a tight battle, though, but Valkyries.
Have you seen any good young players come through in the development side, like we just spoke about, the sprinkling of those young girls across the competition?
I think there's great young girls littered everywhere, but just I guess on the grand final day, Tash has picked the Eels, and quite possibly they could win. I've just checked the weather app, and there's a big southerly coming, which is a great evener. So you boys know what grand final footy's like. If you come out ready to bang, the other team might get a bit shell-shocked, and it doesn't matter how fast and young you are. If you don't want to play smash mouth footy, maybe it won't work.
True. You're wrong. Look, let's get into the reserve grade. All the best to all the women out there that will be prepared for the grand final this weekend. We hope training goes well for you all, and we look forward to seeing you at the Hutt Rec on Saturday. Let's turn our attention to Prem Reserve Grade. For me personally, gentlemen, I think it's been the unsung hero of the 2024 season. All the teams have shown up, solid competition across the board, and now we end up with the Panthers up against Randwick. Your thoughts on the season, the way it's been so far at Prem Reserve?
Mate, reserve grade's been pretty exciting. As a referee, I was keen to actually ref a couple of those games because they've been thrillers, and that's exactly what it's been between these two sides. When they last met round one, a 28-26 win to the Kingfishers. Round two, a last-minute try to the Panthers to pip them at Nanaia Park 36-34, so 2 points between them in both games. So, Petone Panthers, Mike Edmonds back, legendary winner of the 1982 National Cup. Player coach then, coached myself in 98 and through to the early 2000s, and now back coaching how many years later. So I just want to give big props to Papa Mike Edmonds, a legend of our game on and off the field. But they've got a great support team, former Eels, Denzel Hokianga over there just helping out in the coaching ranks, former player Grant Toa, who has had a taste of grand final footy. He's there as a trainer as well. But also a plug for the chairman, Dallas Vincent. He's invested not only his time but resource to get things going off the field. That's the good thing about them, as the boys mentioned, with their social medias, content that they've been creating. Off the field is pumping, on the field's pumping, even their netball team's pumping. They might not be winning, but the culture's there. So some key players for me is former Eel Ngātoki John at loose forward. Gavin Royal, his kicking game is going to be the difference. He can slot them from pretty much anywhere, plus his field positioning in terms of his kicks should get through. But the player to watch for me is Anaru Waihape, a former Lion from last year, didn't quite break premiers. I think he's one of the top try scorers in the reserve grade this year. He's at centre, and so watch out for him. I'm picking a great game. For the Kingfishers, obviously Jaden Taniwha's up front. He's going to be a key. He's a try-scoring machine as well. But the player to watch for me for the Kingfishers is Jesse Oloapu. He used to play Premier football, went over to Stokes Valley, played some rugby. Now back playing with his cousins in whānau in reserve grade, just cruising. He's leading the best and fairest for the competition at the moment. So it's going to be a great game.
The unlucky one for this grand final is the Titans, Cass and Charlie. They nearly made it, but just couldn't get over the line in order for them to be here for that final game. Your thoughts on the Titans season?
Yeah, no, I thought it was awesome. I think last year showed they were really good. I think young Savans, Owen Agnew's in there. He's a classy player, used to play Vikings. So unfortunate because they finished second, but didn't make it. The Panthers only dropped 2 games this year, whereas the Eels dropped 3. But interesting still, the Randwick Kingfishers, their points differentials, they scored more points than them, even though they lost more. So it's going to be a tough game. But like Noel said, a lot of history with the Panthers. I think they might favour them on Saturday as well.
Reserve grade's an interesting one because a question to all of you, do you think there are some teams out there that should come up in 2025, and do you think there are some teams that should actually make a call and possibly go down to reserve grade and continue the engagement of rugby league for players? Charlie?
I think it's probably a conversation that needs to be had. I don't know the fundamentals that are involved, the pros and cons and that sort of thing, but I'm sure Petone would be more than willing to share what it's done for them with a team like the Hunters. Whether it's a positive or a negative, they could talk them through. We were talking off air, obviously you want your team to be playing Premier, but maybe that's a selfish point of view, maybe it's not, I don't know. And that's probably a conversation that the two boards should have with each other.
Exactly, and it's always thinking outside, how do we keep everyone engaged, because losing isn't great, but turning up for the competition is great as well. Let's quickly touch on the other teams that were in reserve grade throughout the season. Teams like the Marlins, Petone Black, not finishing where they wanted to, but also Wainui Green. These clubs continue to lift that premiership grade so that players can still play. Your thoughts across those other teams that didn't make it throughout the year? Yeah,
definitely. I think, big shout out to the clubs that can field both prems and reserves, like Hunters and that. Despite the results, they still get the teams there, so biggest shout out to them. The boys from the Bay, the Marlins, are very unfortunate for them. I know they've got a good bunch of boys there. Josh Tararo's with that team, Jess Rosati, a few young boys as well. Also, shout out to the coaching staff there too. So, it was a tough year for them, but they're rebuilding as well. It's good. It's really important for us to have teams like the Marlins, Wainui Green, Petone Black as well, all in there just to keep the other teams on their toes.
Absolutely. If you've just come across us, you have reached Atiawa Toa Sports. It's a live stream and it's about the previewing the 2024 Grand Final happening at Hutt Rec this weekend. We're just about at the main topic of the evening, and that is the Grand Final, and we're going to debunk and basically talk about the Premiership and how it's been in 2024. We're going to cut to an ad because we just need to get ourselves together and make sure that the last 20 minutes of the show, we do a deep dive into the Grand Final.
Back. All the best throwbacks, 90s and more. Atiawa Toa.
Oh, yeah. Yes, this is dedication to Bob Marley. This one's called Tribute. Remix style, slow down. This one is the single of the EP. Slow down. Oh, yeah. Slow down your roll, yeah. Every day we're gonna try. Slow down your roll, yeah. Every day when I die. Slow down your roll, yeah. Every day we're gonna try. Slow down your roll, yeah. Lord. Yeah, but some say me so Jamaican and me respect that, but I am Maori and me represent. Living in Australia, pony kick on my back. Me plant the seed, we have to stand firm for them I come again. We have to be your father, then we come again. We have to role model for them, we come again. We have to inspire them, yeah. Me ready to take on life another jump. Slow down your roll, yeah. Till every day we gonna try. Slow down your roll, yeah. Every day when I die. Slow down your roll, yeah, yeah. Every day we're gonna try. Slow down wai ka toko taranaki ko mana watu he uri te rei no te tai hau a uru ma hapu tino tapu e oho e tu me i tēnei kia ki ngā iwi kato me ngā tupuna tu wawe he ki te pō titiro mai e whā mā whakarongo ake nei Atiawa Toa FM. What do you say? Slow down your roll, yeah. Said every day we're gonna try. Slow down your roll, yes. Every day we're not done. Slow down your roll, yeah, yeah. Every day we're gonna try. Slow down your roll, yeah. Lord of His mercy now. Aroa mai whānau. That one was called Slow Down off the new EP. That's the single.
Ai, nau mai hoki mai anō ki tēnei papahotanga mai te whare Maori ki Waiwhetu, home of course of Atiawa Toa FM. On a bit of a special, we haven't got a show name, it's the Atiawa Toa Sports Show, pretty much extended, but let's call it, it is a Monday, so why not a Mad Monday? Anyway, speaking of mad, he's been running our mad game of Rugby League, the CEO of Wellington Rugby League, Andre Whitaker, joining us. Andre, thanks for your time tonight.
Great to be here, kia orana, koto katoa.
Yes, well, since you said kia orana, I just want to shout out to Ngāuri o Kuki Airani. It's their special week where we dedicate and celebrate their beautiful language. So kia orana, kia koe, Andre. We're talking about the health of the game, obviously, this year. I remember you sharing some stats in 2023 of the growth of the game. Is that the case for 24?
Yeah, we are. The numbers grow. It's probably good to reflect back on what the game was. In 2020, we were around about 1,300 people registered in the game, and at the end of last year, we were up at 2,300. So that's quite a significant growth in the last 4 years, and we continue to see that.
Yeah, awesome, Andre. Well, big shout out to you and your team as you prepare for the big stage this Saturday. Finally, Rugby League gets to dance on the $500,000 ratepayer-funded Hutt Recreation Ground. Great to see Rugby League on the big stage there. How's preparations going?
Really well, you know, and as you say, it's an international level ground. And, you know, we're really glad that we're able to have the main game there. We've been down there last week just having a look and just doing preparations, making sure we've got everything in place and ready for the big day. Yeah, nice. Hey, finally, I know you've got some plans to, for player safety, spectator safety. It has been an issue in the past, but it was good to see a bit of a message out into the Masters chat to see the legends of our game getting out there to try and control some of the crowd. Yeah, look, it's just a case of having a fence there with people respect, like the Masters, so very glad they were able to have their support on the just to help us, you know, awhi people, remind them about that it's a whānau. Look, in the Hutt Rec, it's a no alcohol zone, so you know, our call for the day will be no alcohol to the ground, and that even means in the chat rooms after the ground. So, you know, leave celebrations for the club rooms afterwards. And that all goes along with our water kaupapa, which we've adopted and had in place. And I'd have to say, it's been a key driver for the growth in our game. It's about how we create a whānau environment for our players on the sidelines, and that's translating into the game as well. Yeah, awesome, Andre. No doubt hau orders have been a big focus for the crew at Wellington Rugby League. Appreciate your time, and also just a mihi from us here at Atiawa Toa FM for allowing space for us to showcase the beautiful game of Rugby League. It's going to be a long day on Saturday. We're doing the breakfast show from the Hutt Recreation Ground from 8 a.m, so probably be getting home by 6. So look forward to the game on Saturday. All the best for preparations, and thanks for your time tonight. Yeah, thanks, guys. E te iwi, Andre Whitaker, the CEO of Wellington Rugby League, and what a job that would be to be a CEO of a game you love.
Well, exactly. And it's a game where we all come together on Saturday. He's told us that it's ready. Everyone's ready. He's ready to host the Wellington community at Hutt Rec. In terms of referees, do you know who will be refereeing? That's already been announced?
Yes, well, look at that, I can sacrifice my referees meeting for the official announcement tonight to come and join you guys on the panel, but I think this one's a bit more exciting. But the referee announcements, congratulations to the Premier referee, Paki. I'm not too sure on his last name, the brother Paki from Manawatu.
Yes.
And I think it might be the first time someone from Manawatu's refed a Premier Grand Final. For the reserve grade, a shout out to Nico, a former player, of course. He's going to be refereeing the Pito One Randwick Kingfisher game. And then looks like I've got the women's game.
You have the women's game?
Yes.
There you go, Whānau.
First women's game.
Noel Woods has the grand final for the women's. Your thoughts on those calls? Great to have some referees from outside the region for
I'm
this
just
grand
getting
final.
some texts from the Waiwhetu Rugby League team about their appointment, but no. Now also, bro, I think it's great. I think, like Noel said before, it's such an important role within our game, in our community, so just getting more people to come and volunteer to do it. Remember, they're just doing it for the love of the game as well. Take it easy on the sidelines. Take it easy. These guys are just doing their job, but I think it's good to have these new officials coming in for the game.
Yeah, for sure. I think it is a thankless job. I mean, we thank guys like Noel, but the people on the sideline don't. And it's one of those things that as you get older, having played in the past, I just have so much respect for the referees, and it's just one thing I always instill into juniors that I coach is to never talk back, because they're giving up their time, and no one's ever won an argument with a referee, but it's also not a good sign for yourself to disrespect someone who's going out of their way to help the game.
Absolutely. Right, boys, time to get into this. It's grand final.
Let's go.
It's the two teams that we have to talk about, and it is St. George up against Wainuiomata. Let's start with the forward packs. When 3 o'clock comes round, both packs will be going hard at each other. I'll start with yourself, Cass, in terms of your thoughts on the St. George forward pack, and then I'll ask Knowles and Charlie on their thoughts on the Wainui forward packs.
Well, the boys from the east side, bro, they're here. The boys from the creek, and that's how they got here. They bullied a lot of their teams. If you look at, they've only dropped one game, and you watch them the way that Kaneri Rapeti has coached them, their forwards. They have a 1-2-3 punch with the big props. Adam Tone, Jesse Brown, and Rob Ula, the captain, off the back. He's been inspirational for them. So their pack's been their strength. Also, Hetu Fa'avai, the young hooker, come from the 18s, still playing under 18s. So he's a key for them, but I think their packs, their strength for the Dragons. So if they want to beat Wainui, they've got to smash them up. And they've lost the Kemp brothers. Dre and Nash are out. Big losses for them, as well as their blockbusting centre Filippo. He's out for the season as well. So they've got a few big losses, but Kennedy's got these young boys in. I think Mangeli and the centre's doing awesome. But yeah, the St. George Dragon pack has been the best all year, and they'll need to be the best again if they want to win on Saturday.
Noel, your thoughts on the Wainui team?
Yeah, Wainui team, young, fast and fit. They like to do things at pace, and they're always pushing me and testing me as a referee in terms of their line speed on defence. So that's what I think is going to get them over their pace out wide. But of course, John Tahana Wharepapa Rawiri, he's going to be the key. He's going to be the difference, just like last year's grand final. I think he scored a hat-trick, player of the day. He was influential in last week's victory over Whiti Te Rā. If he has an outstanding game, they're going to win. Also up front, of course, these two boys played for the Eels last year, Johnny Skinner and Lufa Lovi. They're up front for the Lions, so they're pretty mobile. Not as big as the St. George forwards, so I think although the Dragons might be a bit bigger, the pace and the speed is going to get the Wainui forwards over the line.
Charlie, it's a big game for a lot of these young players, a lot of these experienced players. Going into this game, what are the little things, what are the things they should be concentrating on as they get ready for the big dance this weekend? Should they be trying to do more or less? Not overthink it. Your thoughts in terms of just managing themselves in their forward pack?
I think they just need to do what got them to the grand final. I don't really have a horse in the race, but looking at that Wainui team sheet from their game last week, they've got a lot of experience, and what they lack in size in their starting pack, they have skill, and what they have got the size coming off the bench with Fale, and also a bit of experience in Marvin Karawana, which is massive in a grand final. When you have a guy that can just steady the ship, tip on when you need a tip on, he's got a good kick on him, that will be massive. But in saying that, St. George, they've even back when I was playing, they were they were a team that even if you beat them, you know that you played the next day because you were sore. So I'm looking for Nisa in the second row to have a big game, and he'll have a big battle with Lyric Samu.
Let's talk the spine on the Wainui side, then we'll go to Cass about St George. Noel, your thoughts?
Yeah, as I mentioned, just too much pace for Wainui. But also a key for the Dragons is their fullback, James Tawhiti. Yep. He's an Orca player as well, Wellington rep, so he'll be key from the back, strong runs all day, great on defence as well. So yeah, looking for him to inspire his boys out in the backs, but I think Wainui should have the edge in the backs.
Your thoughts, Cass, there?
Yeah, definitely. I think if you look to Waniomata, young Itula, he's been a bit of a shining light for Waniomata at hooker position. One of the things with Jimmy is he's brought the young guys through. Simati, he had an injury, he's back for it. Itula, a young Ifan Tuisila, who you coached at St. Pat's, has been ripping up as well. So a lot of pace and skill, as Noel mentioned, but the Dragons, they do have Demetrius Lede. He's just come out of Wellington College as well, second year out of college. Ontro Arai Panapa, their number 6, very creative, very creative with his dummies and his ball work as well, so he'll be one to watch. But also, as he mentioned, James Tawhiti, he's been the biggest tackle buster in Wellington Rugby League. Every time he gets the ball, he's going to break the first two, usually the standard. So why do we really need to wrap him up on the kick returns, because he's going to be really dangerous for them.
Charlie, how important are these benches for these coaches?
They're massive, they can turn a game. If Wainui comes out on top in the first 20, but St. George comes on and comes out hissing from the bench, it can just change the momentum. You saw it in the women's game semi-final last week with the Valkyrie behind, early on, and it was almost that bench that changed the game. So I don't know, it doesn't matter what grade you play, whether it's NRL or Masters, it's a 17-man game. So, yeah, everyone's got a big job, 1 to 17, 1 to 18.
Yeah, and those bench players that are named there can't take it for granted, the amount of momentum that they need to do. I'm going to switch it around. I'm going to come to Cass. I've asked you about St. George, but now I'm going to ask you about Wainui's coach and what you need to look out for as a St. George team, and then I'm going to come to you and tell me what you think of the St. George coach and what you think a Wainui team would have to prepare. So, Cass, talk about Jimmy and what do you think he's going to bring? What's he doing for this week?
Well, Mr. Samu, we saw him last year, what he did to inspire the boys, spoke about the history of Wainui League, inspired them to win this game that they weren't favourite to win against the Vikings. I think he'll do the same. And he's well aware of this Dragons pack. He has to contain them. His pack's a bit smaller, but they might be a bit quicker around the ruck, so they'll try and tire them out. So, yeah, he's just got to try and tire them out, try and win the ruck, because as Charlie knows, if you can't control the ruck, you'll be going back all day and your edges will be coming in. So, yeah, I think the main focus for Jimmy was just, getting his boys to do what they did last year. Charlie mentioned Marvin is such a big influence on that team. He played in the Grand Final 2004 at Poro Park when they won that one, and he's still playing now 20 years later. So we saw him last year, his experience, even though he went off concussed. I thought he wasn't going to come back on, but Doug let him on, and so he came on and controlled the game and managed that game. So he'll look to his experienced players to really control the game, and just so it doesn't get away, but at the same time just really try and nullify that Dragons pack.
Yeah, I think for the Dragons, Kaneri Ropiti, a former player similar to Jimmy, they know what it takes and feels like to be in the grand final or an important game such as a final. So Kaneri Ropiti, no doubt, will just, I think discipline's a big one for St. George. Sometimes they sort of lose their composure a little bit as a referee. I've noticed over the years when calls don't go their way. So, just opening up their comms via the captain is important, particularly for the referees. So obviously Kaneri will be just telling his boys to watch out for those quick play the balls from the Wainui Lions. Try and get them down there as long as they can and test the referees' patience in terms of how long they can hold them down there in the defensive line.
Charlie, how important is discipline this weekend for these boys? They can't afford to be sent off for 10 minutes or anything like that. They would have to have that in the back of their minds in terms of not contributing to the team in a negative way.
Yeah, for sure. I think obviously they're all going to be super pumped up, playing the Hutt's main ground and also with a massive crowd. I think they just have to remember that every penalty you give away, it's inviting the other team into your half, giving them a set of 6. I I do want it to be a super aggressive game, but you can show your aggression in other ways. You know, it doesn't have to be a forearm to the face or something like that. It can just be running a bit harder. So I don't know. I think discipline's going to play a big role. You know, we'll see. No doubt there'll be a young boy that has a brain explosion, but it's up to those senior guys to rein him in.
Yeah. Right, let's go into the predictions for the weekend. Noel, I'll keep you out of this for this one, but gentlemen, do you reckon?
Yeah, he's all good.
Okay, well, Cass has said... Oh, yeah, he's not refereeing that game. Sorry. Let's go start with you, Charlie. It's the big dance. Wainui. Who are you taking?
Okay, well, I would like to see St. George win, and I hope they do. But maybe missing Filippo in the centres might be too much of an ask, and maybe they can use that as motivation. Maybe one of them is on the stream right now, and I apologise, but looking at that Wainui bench, it's hard to beat a team of experience. So I'll tip Wainui by 1.
Tip Wainui by 1. Cass?
Oh, definitely the Dragons, bro. I've been riding that team all year. You know, Kennedy pulled me up in that pub last time, remember?
He
Told
did.
me, hey, you didn't pick us to win. So I'll stay with the Dragons. I think if they can get that roll long, young Hitu for Avai's been really dangerous out of dummy half. Also, James Tafiti getting the ball out wide. Mangele, who was outstanding on that Friday night game, is another blockbuster player. So, yep, Dragons by 4.
Wow. Yeah, like Gub, you know, I want St. George Dragons to win because they haven't won a championship since 1977 when they beat Petone 8 points to 2 on a muddy Petone wreck. Yeah, and in fact, that's a bit of history there. It's the lowest grand final score ever. But, you know, Wainui, reigning premiers, they know what it takes to win. They've got all that history in their club when they have their grand final breakfast on that Saturday. Seeing all the Kiwis and, you know, all the championships they've won national and locally. I think Wainui's just going to be too quick, too fit, too fast for the St. George Dragons. So I'm picking Wainui to win by 8.
Brilliant, brilliant. Look, ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to the end of our live stream. So thank you so much for joining us. It was a chance for us to shine a light on the great work that Wellington Rugby League do, not only in our communities, but all of you out there, coaches, players, referees, all the volunteers that are out there. Atiawa Toa Sports will be live streaming the grand final, all 3 games, starting at 11 o'clock. It will be on Facebook, YouTube, and on the radio. The grand final actually will be on the radio at the moment. I do want to thank our guests. Charlie, thank you so much for joining us this evening.
No, it's been an honour and awesome to get some fun facts from Noel.
Noel has a lot of fun facts. Noel, thank you so much for joining us this evening.
Yeah, and thanks to our historian, Kerry Clements, who provided us with some fun facts today, and he's always hitting us up to be on the show, so please get him on the show one day.
You've got a show. Maybe he could be on your show.
Well, I gave him a bit of flack for his pronunciation. I said, but that's why you're not on the show, because of your poor Maori pronunciation. So sorry, Kerry.
Well, he keeps calling Cass Kips. Cass, thank you so much for joining us as always.
Sully, all good, bro. Get ready for the rap battle, man. Noel's put it on, man. Let's go.
Noel battle, and thank you so much to you all, our production team, Adrian, Corey, and Toby. Also, thank you also to our leaders at Atiawa Toa for letting us do these type of community engagements. Look, have a great week. Train hard, get ready, but be there. 11 o'clock kickoff, Hutt Rec. Thank you for joining us. For now, goodbye.